We've got Scott Bauer joining us here. We've got the CEO of Prosper Trading Academy with us this afternoon on Midday Movers to help us take a look at, well, Scott, welcome. We've seen a buying opportunity play out in gold. I took a look at it at the top of the show through the 2,000 level. It's really yet to look back. It continues to be strong. This has been an overcrowded trade, to say the least.
Overcrowded is an understatement, and yet it still is just literally rocketing higher. I mean, making moves that we would expect to see in maybe a high-flying tech stock, sort of space. And the real reason, why gold is up 35% this year and why it probably holds its value is during COVID, during the pandemic, with all the money printing by the central banks that we're seeing, this is eroding the value of other currency as we're seeing with the dollar right now. And that is just such a tailwind for gold right now. And quite frankly, for silver too, though silver has a little bit more of the industrial side to it as well. But, this trade in gold, it's overcrowded and it's still going higher, Ben. And I've been wrong for the last $100 in gold. I definitely have been wrong. Full admittance here. We've talked about it before, but I always do everything with option spreads, so I know what my maximum risk is. But wow, what a move.
Yeah. Scott, you're probably not the only one that looked to fade some of this recent move, but the fact that you've been wrong the last $100 worth, I think that's always something good, usually pointing to the fact that you've been right for the first $500 worth, where this thing moved through 1,300 to 1,400 with momentum up through 1,800. You were talking about some of the stimulus measures. I've got the dollar, which has been coming off. This is also helping gold get a little bit of a bid. We're seeing weakness in the U.S. dollar. Let's talk about how it's benefiting miners. We saw Newmont into a recent new high. Talk to us about what we're seeing there in terms of ticker symbol NEM, ticker symbol GOD, that's Barrick, and then we've got Fremont, ticker symbol FCX. What are you seeing as far as these big names benefiting?
I mean, they certainly have been along for the ride, no question about it. Newmont it has doubled since its March lows, new highs there, and massive amount of call buying. So obviously a lot of investors or traders are looking for those continued highs there. Volatility, when we look at implied volatility for gold stocks or gold mining stocks, we typically don't get implied volatility, at high levels. And it's up there right now. So, these people buying these call options are really expecting a continued move here. The one I like the best actually is FCX. It's up almost 200% since its March lows. Incredible amount of call buying. It's like, 6 or 7 to 1 call buying. And it's challenging the highs that we saw back in April of 2019. If it can get back there, Ben, then from a technical standpoint, there's not a lot up above here, to hold it back.
I like that. Right up to this $15 level, as you mentioned, testing multi-month highs here. Scott, I mentioned NEM to a new high. That was yesterday. FCX, as you can see, to a new high. We're looking at the weekly chart here, and it looks like off those March lows, down only, looks like about 7 weeks. This has been on the move here. Last but not least, talking miners, let's talk GOD. Barrick, what are you seeing there?
So this one's real interesting because they're going to report earnings on Monday morning in just a few days. It's up 100% off its March lows. And going back to the earnings they released for Q1, they actually lowered their output guidance for the rest of the year. That, to me, is going to be the key metric of what they say, what they report. Are they going to raise that back up? Is the demand still there? So that they can get that output back up. And if they do raise that output, to me, that's going to be the kicker here in the earnings report, and this thing probably goes higher.
All right, to a new high today, or this week, I should say, in Barrick also. Now, they're down on the day right now by about 1.75%, but this week up to 30.69. Let's move on, Scott. The stay-at-home trade comes in many shapes and sizes. There have been beneficiaries. There's been winners and losers. So do homes come in many shapes and sizes, and Zillow seems to be one of the beneficiaries of recent trends that we've been seeing. Talk to us about ticker symbol Z. What do you see there?
Yeah, no doubt about it. With the resurgence in the home buying market over the last, 3, 4, 6 months, if you will, especially the stay at home, Zillow's been at the forefront there because what most people are doing right now, Ben, when they're searching for new homes, that first look, instead of actually physically going to the house or condo, whatever it is, to look at it, they're doing it online. They're doing it virtually. And Zillow has kind of mastered that. And I know real estate agents are using that as well. So, you look at a stock like Zillow and in the foreseeable future here, I don't see it pulling back.
Yeah, to a new high today, 73.30. Scott, if you're buying a new home, you're going to want to furnish it. Let's talk Wayfair. Ticker symbol W. Upgraded to equal weight from underweight at Barclays with a target of 321. And if you take a look at ticker symbol W, you can see it does look like it's got what investors need. It's up 3 3/4% today, and it looks like something like 7 or 8 days in a row to the upside after breaking out up above that 230 level.
Yeah, I would be a little bit cautious on this one. I mean, I think longer term, yeah, there's obviously a very, very nice trend to the upside here. I'd be a little cautious on this upgrade here. And if you're in this right now, this could be a really good place to take some profits. I certainly would not want to initiate a position here, but if this thing happened to pull back 5-6% or so, that's where I'd want to get in.
All right, earnings came in well above EPS, well above estimated, and revenue growth. You can see how they benefited from some of the trends we were just talking about. Last but not least, At Home, ticker symbol HOME. What are you seeing there, Scott?
I mean, again, you look at this stay-at-home trade here, and ATHM, maybe it's lagged a little bit or Home, I should say, At Home, HOME. Maybe it's lagged a little bit of some of the others here. It's up 4% today. It's no slouch, but I think this one's lagged a little bit and maybe kind of stuck in the mud, maybe getting overlooked a little bit from the Wayfarers, from even an overstock where you can go to an overstock and buy home goods online as well. And I think some of those other companies, have really taken advantage. I mean, you look at this chart here, and obviously it's made a huge run up over the last 3-4 months. And, this one I'm very cautious on, actually, in that space.
All right, a few stocks that are raising the roof here this day, or today I should say, this week. And Scott, opening up the door to some major gains to the upside here. Really appreciate you joining us, Trader Scott Bauer. You can check him out at Prosper Trading Academy, where he's the CEO. And ladies and gentlemen, Scott, always a pleasure. Thanks again.